we didn't just go through all these past lives to, past lives are not just there to remember, oh, I did that in a past life, or, I did
Thank
that,
you. Thank you. Yes.
It's
No.
really, truly to allow you to tap into this stream of consciousness and start pulling the energy and the wisdom into your field now
About
and merge
integrating
that.
them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
integrating them. They are part of you. You don't know how many times I do things in the house or outside. I'm able to do stuff and I think, and after I finish, I say, how do I know? Because I start to integrate it. I have a lifetime where I have this quality, I have this talent. So, and it's about allowing this be part of you. So it's not just a memory. You are part of all of this lifetime. So, and you can tap in this memory and start to remember the power, start to remember also the compassion, or maybe through the experience, you learn to be different because this become part of you. It's why I have a time to say what kind of year is and how old I am, not because I play funny, but just because when you start to integrate many lifetime and you start to see yourself as a woman, as a male, black, yellow, green, whatever, any kind of color, and any kind of religions, you become part of everything, first of all, and you become more compassionate. And you start to connect to every life and say, oh, I learned this. Oh, this was a lesson. So let me understand better. So, and you go layer by layers and by layers. Mm-hmm. And I notice when the soul understand, you don't repeat anymore the same. But when the soul doesn't want to face it, because, oh yeah, but you have this repetition, the same mistake, and you are attracting the same situation.
Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Welcome back to another episode of the Enlighten Up podcast. As you can see, one of our favorite and regular guests, Consuelo Cassotti, is back here to join you and me for a wonderful conversation about rituals and the sacred practice of the ritual and what it means for us. We're going to get into ancient rituals, modern rituals, and the power behind it all. Consuelo, how are you doing, doll?
Hi, dear. Nice to invite me always. It's always a pleasure. And you know how much I love to share with people what we realize, what we put together. So thank you for inviting me again.
Oh, I love having you here. It's like having my sister with me.
In a way, probably you were.
So, one of the topics, like this topic of ritual that I asked if you'd be interested to go deeper with me on, stems from, a couple of my actually psilocybin plant medicine journeys, even like my ayahuasca journey, and this idea of the importance of rituals and the power behind it. And, you were mentioning that there's definitely strength behind having a ritual practice or using these rituals in different ways, and how that can really strengthen your own conviction, who you are. Would you like to share with the audience?
You say that it's easy to convert an atheist that convert to another religion or a Christian because of the ritual. So it's much, people that are very connected to religions because they do ritual, and ritual is about coming together as a community, the sense of sociality. They feel connect, and they also feel also safe, because the ritual help you to feel that you have a place where to go or something to do, so give you a purpose. Okay, and so, and the fact that you are doing with other people create this strong strength that it's hard to leave it. So an artist is by himself, he chooses to be alone, he chooses to be independent, so it's easy to be taken into this in a moment where maybe, you know, it needs more support. So
I
it's
guess
why,
too, like if an atheist doesn't really believe in all of the things, then they're not going to create any of these rituals to connect with it.
yes, I agree. But imagine an artist that is having some hard time. Maybe he lost somebody that will die, or have a depression situation. So it could be that this is going to be the moment where it open a possibility to think about there is something else, or, you know, because people, when somebody die and you're really there and is very there to you, you tend to believe that you're going to come back or you're going to see this person again, because it's so hard to think there is nothing after, you know?
Mhm.
So I think sometimes it's a test for people about what really believe in when something happened and it's very hard on them, you know, losing a child, losing a partner. So I'm talking about very traumatic moment. And in fact, if you notice in many movies, they say, I don't believe in God, but please, right now, I call everybody, you know, they do this when they really need some support. They feel like I need to connect to something bigger because I cannot do this by myself. So a lot of time that people have no religious, but whatever God I'm gonna call, I'm okay. I'm gonna be a believer right now. So because in a time of crisis is what we do. We reach out for some help, and normally it's hard for reach out inside of us. We reach out outside because the society let us know that the only way that you can find some help is outside.
Yes.
Power, you know this. So religion is also about power, controlling people. So don't forget about this part. Okay. Okay. So it's more complicated.
Yeah. Even like just the ritual of social media, you know, and how often they want you on that app. It's all to like take your own connection away to whatever it is that you could be connected, whether it's your family or your friends or your own health routine or your own mental health routine, meditation, whatever it might be, you know.
Yes.
And it's to get you into that ritualistic practice that just consumes your time. And again, the more you see something, the more you practice, or you find your community in something that you're not really that connected to, it's a little
I
weird.
know. But you know, this it's happened because humans are social beings. So humans need connection. And so, and also one other thing that is important for us is ritual redefine who you are in a way. You know, in fact, the boy that become a man, you know, a woman, a girl that become a woman. So there's no ritual. Just to have your period the first time can be connected to a ritual time, you know. So it's why ritual also help you to define some step and to show you your progress, or to give you an identity in certain way. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Is why the connection through internet, all of this media, they are so successful, because the young children, the youngs now, they are looking to be find an identity. They're looking to have this support. Makes sense? So in Africa, or in, you know, tribe, it was very tribal to do some ritual. So they leave the children, maybe a boy at 12 years old, put in a forest, in the jungle, and need to survive a full night, you know, with their tools. They were prepared all their life to reach the moment where they can be a man, where they come out of the jungle, you know. So makes sense. So we don't have this anymore in our society. We lost a lot of this in a way, maybe somewhere extreme, but it helped us to define our progress and our ability and our skills. Yes.
Yeah. And so what really kind of birthed this kind of desire to have this conversation with you was in my in a few of my plant medicine journeys, there seems to always be a ceremony taking place. And so I feel like I'm being there's an awakening of the shaman within me, that is coming through in these journeys through the ceremonial process. But it's bigger than that. Like, I feel like I'm being shown the power behind the ceremony and the ritual that is performed. So, for instance, there was one of the ceremonies that's happened a couple of times is the seeding of my own womb space. And it's to prepare it, it's to strengthen it, it's to increase the frequency, to increase the fertility. And it happens in these places that are either the couple places that it's happened is in the jungle, but it's also happened in ancient Egyptian temples, fertility temples. And I'm seeing the different ways that it's celebrated, but there always seems to be, like you said, community around. So when I was in the Egyptian temples, it wasn't just me alone. There were all these other women that were doing the ceremony. We were all almost like strengthening the energetic field of the ceremony through each of us to amplify not just our own journey, but the journey for all. And then when the ceremonies were happening in the jungle, it's like every animal, every insect, every plant life was all part of it. Even the elements, the air, the wind, there was a fire, like everything just seemed to be a part of it, and everything was overjoyed. And I'm wondering, like, from your perspective, or if you receive any downloads around this, like, what is the power of that kind of communal joy and immersion into this practice, this ritual, and this idea of ceremony? And how do we apply it and take take that wisdom for what we can do today in our own life?
To my point of view, ritual is related to spiritual path, because ritual allow you to find your own identity. And by the way, we tend to rebirth, die and rebirth, not just from it, as a life, but so we need this. Sometimes I think that we need this moment where we to restart again. It's a kind of restart. And so I think when we do this, we need to reach a point where we surrender self. And so when you do the surrendering, the real surrendering, to the power, to the divine, to the fertility, to the goddess of the fertility, or to God, or whatever is the moment, I think is the moment where you connect to everything and everybody that are supporting you. So you become part of everything. I think this is, I'm not sure how much everybody feel this, but in a way, this is the purpose, to completely connect. So, and if you are in the jungle, you can connect with everything surrounding you, and nature is ready to help you and to support you, and and to help you to restart, rebirth, restart again. And if there is not this, a community, normally if you look many times when also in Egypt you were doing something, I'm sure that you have some women, they're old women, not everybody the same age. So you have somebody who's going to show you the path and give you the light to go through the tunnel. And a lot of time when they do this ritual, you talk about the ancient ritual, they see this like going through a tunnel. In particular, if I use herbal medicinal herbs, they feel like going out and be delivered again, like a child, rebirth again. So I think it's part of feeling connect with the source.
Yes.
Be again, connect with everything. And that because the way where we live, we need this moment sometimes to connect to our primary source, our spirituality, so we can be connected to everybody. Makes sense?
Yeah. And I got a download while you were sharing that one of the reasons why it's so important to have your community and to celebrate and share with a community that is supportive of you and can share in the joy of supporting you is because that community can partake in the ritual and elevation of your goals, your dreams, and all that, and not necessarily always just through ceremony, but through just sharing and understanding one another and having that support. So for instance, I was seeing while you were talking also on the flip side of why it's so important to protect your goals and your dreams and your wishes from not necessarily sharing them with communities that don't support you, because it can pull the energy away.
Yes. Also, because remember, we need to also pay attention to which circle, which group we are in, what kind of society, because sometimes you need to be like them, you need to be the same level. You cannot stand up more. You are in a box, you are level. So there are some communities that they don't allow you to be different. They don't, and if you notice, is more connected to religious, they do this. They don't want you to be different. When it's connected to a ritual that is like the African one, connect to the natural things, the natural elemental, so to natural energy, they're more open to see the through yourself and to let you bright and to let you understand what you're doing. Makes sense? So because they are connected to the source completely, they don't have a label. So it's why, yes, there are some communities that don't tend to help you to become different.
Yes.
Because if you become different, means that they need to manage you and they don't know how to manage you.
Yes. And also this idea of being connected in nature when doing ceremony. So a lot of ceremonies are done in jungles, in forests, around water, like beach, lakes, in fields. And what I was seeing as well is that the reason being is because there's so much natural fertility in these spaces that, like when you say a ritual offers a chance to kind of fulfill a deep need to have a fresh start in something. And so what do you need? You need that really fertile ground to plant those seeds and to help them nourish. And so when you're doing any kind of ceremonial process and you're outside in nature, or taking that process into nature in some way, that can really amplify the fertility of for whatever it is that you're starting.
Oh, yes, ritual can evoke special power too. They can give you wisdom. They can remind you who you are. So for people, it's a big awakening. Okay, it's why medicinal herbs have become so popular right now, because people are looking for be more reconnected and have power back, their own power back.
Yeah.
So through ritual and through the nature, they can do it. Yeah, I agree. And so, and if you look in the modern time, they do through art therapy, psychedelic therapy, energy medicine, psychodrama. So they tend to reconnect to the ancient way to do ritual, if you think about it in a way, okay, through some therapy. Of course, do a ceremony is something that we start to do more again because we realize, but I would say people can do also their own ceremony sometimes, they can wake up in the morning and drink water and thank the diva of the water, for purify their body or clears everything. So, or when they do the shower, I call the diva of the water every time I do a shower, say, please cleanse everything from my body. Doesn't need to be my body anymore. For my highest good. Any psychic attack or any situation, please let them go and let me clear a bit. And after ask, now it's time to recharge. And I open my arms and let the shower continue to wash me and recharge. So it takes 5 minutes, doesn't need to take hours. But this is also a way to reconnect to the energy. It's something that we forgot because we take everything for granted. Oh, is it water? I open and we have a water, But truly, everything, it can be magic in certain way. So, and honoring, respecting is very important. So during the ritual, when you show this respect, you open to something magic. Makes sense? And it can be small or big, doesn't matter. But the fact that you recognize this is important.
And
And
I think, one of the things that you've also mentioned to me is this idea of rituals can really help us from getting lost in our own confusion in the fog of life, or it can help us find our way back if we are lost in the fog. Because I think about and this is done in the most practical ways where, okay, maybe you've gotten into habits of eating unhealthy food and you haven't been exercising, and then all of a sudden you start a ritual. Okay, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating this for breakfast. I'm going to start eating this for lunch. And you start these ritual practices, and all of a sudden you start to gain momentum and you start to gain your power back within your own body. And it's not the food that has power over you, and it's not this idea that I don't want to do it. So there's something really beautiful in this idea of rituals restoring our own power, but also helping us to find our way out of the fog that we may have, or confusion that we've gotten lost in.
Yes. And I have different memory as a past life as a shaman. So I was, one time was a male, one time was a woman. And when I was a shaman, the power that I can connect was immense, was incredible. So, because when you start to connect to everything and you realize that the nature speaks to you, animal speaks to you, I was receiving messages. I can use the birds, to go and look around. So I was using this way to go inside animals to understand and guard the area, or understand stuff. It was unbelievable how powerful I was. And so the problem that lifetime was my ego. I become not the best person in the life. So because I start to use my power from, because sometimes the difficulty is when you start to taste the power, you need to be very careful, because sometimes it become an addiction. Okay. So a power can be something. So it was about my ego. So I learned my lesson there. But beside this part, it was very amazing because you really receive messages, and it's contest. It's when you open yourself to this possibility, and you don't judge, and you say, okay, I know it's going to give you a message, and what I'm saying is, to me, I think a lot of people, we don't realize that we are surrendered by a possibility to create our own ritual, and to have the little community of people that are going to do the same stuff with us. It doesn't mean to be go in the forest, and have a fire every time, because we don't have a time to do this. We have a life. But the fact that we celebrating one night with 2 or 3 friends, celebrating not just a birthday, but a success. And so choose certain food, choose certain thing to do that night. I think this can give us a sense of achievement. Makes sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because, and all of us, we can connect to this powerful way to be, okay? But we don't need to be shaman. Also, if I notice that a lot of my clients, where they are light worker like us, they were shaman many lifetime. It's amazing. Woman medicine, man medicine, as a Native American shaman. I think is part of this light worker to come here every time and do something that have a ritual and connection, because we can show other, we can help other to find this again. So as a shaman, I was guiding people. I was telling people how to do some ritual. I will give it some herbs. I will give it to say to take this and to do some prayer, to say some words. You see, it's how we do this. And I was holding ceremony, I prefer the other shaman life when I was a Peruvian woman, but I have a better life. It was more pleasant. I was so happy always. And I was surrounded by grandchildren, surrounded by, oh my gosh. So it was much better life for my taste. But what I'm saying is, because it was a life where I was giving, not taking. The first was like taking power. And the second was like, I was giving happiness. I was helping people to feel better. I was healing women. I helped women to have children, because I was giving them strength. Because remember, when you give a ritual and people believe it in what you offer, 50% of a job is done already.
I completely agree. And this is why the plant medicine can make a ritual or ceremony so powerful, because you get so immersed in the experience of it that you truly believe it's happening. And I'm not saying it's not happening, but like it's your body feels like it's there, your mind feels like it's there. And so it's literally going through this reality shift that is completely reprogramming your entire existence.
Yes.
And I think that's really a powerful thing that comes through this idea of ceremony and ritual. And it's one of the reasons why I'm looking so forward to the retreat in September with everyone who's coming, because I keep seeing it in my visions, whether I'm meditating or I'm on a journey. Like it just, I keep seeing all of the people that are there and the power that is evoked through the communal ceremony, and
Yes.
how like each one of us is feeding this, almost like this cauldron or this pot, of pure energy that is, I want to say it's definitely got some goddess energy qualities to it, but it's like we're inside this pot and we're just feeding it more and we're making it more and more potent, and we're all absorbing it, and we're all contributing to the recipe of whatever is going to emerge from that. And I think that there's an undeniable power that can shift you and your entire life and reality from that point forward, from partaking in certain things like that. And I mean, because I know it's true. It's already happened to me, and I know it's happened to you.
Yes, because you become conscious finally,
Mm-hmm.
And again, to me, the best moment where you literally surrender yourself is the only moment where I feel like finally you allowing happen,
Mm-hmm.
allow to happen, So it's why it's also very important to choose the right person with to do ceremony,
Yes.
because I'm sorry, I'm very, very careful,
Mm-hmm.
because of course there are people they don't know what they're doing, by the
Yeah.
way, and they don't have any consciousness, and they
And they
do
don't have
maybe.
any like um protective boundaries in place energetically for the group and what's going on, like
Oh,
that's also very important.
why it's not always good. Sometimes some people need experience, okay, but I would say be careful and be sure that you're going with the right person. So
Mm-hmm.
listen your intuition and pay attention, because it's a moment where you are completely open and you are fragile. You open yourself to this possibility. So, and it takes courage sometimes to go through this. It takes courage, takes desire, and
Mm-hmm.
so, but also to me, through the ritual, you find your way out. So I feel like sometimes people, when they are confused, they don't have a purpose, they need to find some ritual that help them to put together something, to connect to that part of themselves, to
Mm-hmm.
see how good they are. And
Yeah.
so ritual help them to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
And yes, tell me.
No, I was gonna say, so one of the more fun realizations that I've had in my own path, my own spiritual development and journey, and this has come a lot through the development of my own guided meditations, because for those of you who are in alchemy or have been in alchemy, you know that I release one every month. And there's a lot of my own, I take a lot of pride in that work, because I really I really focus my energy and my desire to, and my passion to create something that is very different than what most people would expect to receive in a guided meditation. I'll try to use maybe different music, or I'll use different techniques, or the way I'm speaking. And I sometimes some of my favorite meditations, not all, but a lot of my favorite meditations are the ones that are really exciting. There's like this really fun energy behind it, or this kind of really amped up energy. And so this morning when I recently just purchased my first block of ceremonial cacao, and I had my first morning ritual, because I'm trying to start a new morning ritual for myself, where depending on, doesn't matter how early I'm starting my day, if I got to be at the gym at 6, and that means I got to get up at 4:30 to do this, and um and I make my cup of cacao, and I light candles, and I get my crystals and all that around my meditation cushion. And I sit down and I drink my cacao with the intention of, opening my heart, setting the tone for the day. And I have a playlist that I love, and I call it Egyptian calling. Just because that's just kind of like what feels right to me. But it's energy it moves you, and it awakens you, and it awakens for me like that Kundalini goddess energy within me. And within 20 to 30 minutes, I'll be damned if I'm not dancing on my meditation cushion, like still sitting there, and I'm moving, and my arms start like doing all these like light language, like movements and stuff. And there's like a smile on my face, and I just feel every cell in my body just so radiantly happy and alive, and feeling so much excitement for the day. But then, like, when I'm in that state, I start focusing, okay, what is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to create today? What does I want to create in the future? And I start like really imagining it and seeing it. And I start infusing this flow of energy that is so powerful. And I think, like, there's absolutely a time and place for wanting meditation to bring in this state of peace and relaxation. And I think depending on what your day is like and how you've structured your life, that might be absolutely necessary for you to have. But for me, I've learned how to structure my life so that I don't have a ton of those stresses anymore. I've created my life to be much more in flow with my personality, what it is that I want to do throughout the day. So in my morning, I like literally this morning, I was like, all right, time to get off this meditation cushion. We just got to dance. And I started dancing through my room, dancing through the house. And I just got my earbuds in, and I'm like dancing around. And it's just like, this is the way to start the day.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, I agree with you. It's perfect. It's a perfect time and perfect moment, because in the morning you want to be inspired. You want to create the day. You want to have this energy, because it keeps you moving, and it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
And there's something also, what I love is, this is why we see things like ecstatic dance, and retreats that are doing this. And I gotta say, at first I was like, I don't know about that, but I think it's just because I needed to like connect with it first on my own, and really
yes.
kind of find that beat and that movement for myself. And there's just, I don't, you, and I've said this even in my womb of activation course. In one of the final activations, I'm like, sing it in, dance it in, like love it in, like just move it in, and breathe it in. And it's just like, there's so much power in our breath, in our body movement, in our sound, like that. If you fully engage in it in this beautiful ceremonial way, like, I keep seeing it, like, you are an unstoppable creative force.
Yes. And I agree, because ritual also, if you look a lot of ritual, they have a dance, they have a music and dance. And this is part of, because when you have fun and joy, you have more energy, you have more desire. You're creating something that is, you are unbreakable. You feel the power. So it's how we feel connect. So some part of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And free dance, why not? Who cares about your dance? Whatever it is, your body moves, so follow your body. And it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. I'm
So,
like, I already, like, even at the retreat, I'm like, I hope everyone who's coming is ready, because in the morning, yeah, we're going to do that meditation. We're going to do some yoga, but then we're going to start dancing, and we're going to welcome the day, with some like really fun dance.
and
And
truly, some people maybe don't, but it's okay too. Some people maybe because it takes time for people to be good with their body,
mm-hmm. But, and then brings in the next point. That is what makes the body so valuable, and understanding that when you do get more comfortable in your body, this is why we have this vessel. This vessel isn't just a dense thing that prevents you from like traveling out into the conscious universe. This body is actually the technology that when used correctly allows you to achieve even beyond traveling, your consciousness traveling.
It's how we can manifest, because through the physicality, be here. We are grounding a certain energy. Otherwise, we cannot manifest. Sorry, but it's true. How you can manifest in this reality if you're not here? So be in the moment, and also be connected with your body, help you to be in the moment. Feel your body in the moment, and it's perfect. So yes, ritual are very, very, again, without become too rigid, of course, because every time, I always say, find the middle way, find something that resonates with you. But when it become hard, ask yourself, why is hard? Because I don't want to go through something, so there is some fear, some resistance, or because maybe it's not good anymore for me. So again, I saw myself changing in many ways to do meditation, to enjoy my time. So because we evolve, we change, we have different needs, so every time can be different, and it's okay. We go through phases, and allow yourself to see this. I think it's very important. So again, also at night, it's nice to have some ceremony. Do you have any ceremony at night that you use it when you go to bed? Do you have any particular ceremony that you use it?
No, like I used to do just my meditation before going to bed, but I think that something that I've been wanting to integrate into like an evening, like before pre-bed ceremony, is something to do with like just lighting a candle, saying an invocation, and something like just as easy as that, I think can be extremely powerful. In fact, that's something that came through my meditation this morning is there's quite a few invocations that we're trying to come through that I've got to sit down with next time and just allow them to come through, that to use in different ceremonial practices.
Nice. Also some mantra, people are having their time to find some invocation, they can use some mantras. I find mantras very, very good for helping, because sometimes you need to have this repetition. Sometimes a ritual is about repetition, and also some music that repeat and repeat, help you to go in this kind of place where you can connect more with some parts of yourself. I think it's very, can be good. But a ritual can be used also in the way that you eat, with the way you do stuff.
Absolutely.
So it need to be, and again, with flexibility, of course, not become obsessive of, and to be in this way, this time, and to eat at this time of the day, or to eat with certain food. But if you do ritual, it's about blessing your food, recognize and ask your body to enjoy your food, and recognize that your body is your temple. So it's really part of everything, and maybe recharge your water, and when you drink the water, so pay more attention to what you're doing. And of course, busy people, busy day, maybe they don't do much,
but invite ceremony and ritual into as much of your day-to-day as you can, because it doesn't have to be this outlandish and very intricate ceremony. It can be very, very simple and basic. It's the energy that you come to it in that makes it as powerful as it is. You've had some clients that are light workers, star seeds, that have been shamans in past lives. What have you observed from those sessions?
I noticed that a lot of them, they carry the same desire of be here for humans, be here for helping. And sometimes I notice that a lot of the people that are alive in this lifetime, they are afraid to use their own power a lot of times, because in many lives they try to help, they try to share, and they're punished by society when they try to be different, when we try to show something different, when we try to show the power to other people, be punished, be tortured, be outcasted. So a lot of time they have this. And so a lot of light work, and when they come over here, they are afraid now to use their own power. And so is why I'm thinking having some ritual, they're going to reconnect them to the other lifetime when we use the power. Is why I'm thinking this can be a good stuff to say to them. Start your little ritual, nothing fancy, but like I allow myself to be powerful again. I allow my power to be back to me. I ask the diva of the nature to help me to remember who I am. It can maybe something like this, precious. Drink some water that you recharge, or have some good food, some fruits, and give yourself this moment, you know. So what I'm saying is, because I noticed the same pattern again and again, they did incredible work every time. They were a chosen one. I saw a couple of clients that were in Egypt. The author was a female author, you know, the one that you see in Egypt. They are, yeah, column with the face
Yes.
culture them. And she was choosing only few girls, I think it was mostly girls, if I remember right. And they were young, and the family noticed that because they're very intuitive or have a special ability, they were taking them, and she was testing them, and she was teaching them to be somebody special, you know. And I was like, okay, so we have many occasions where we were chosen because in the family knew it, they were different, or the community saw us different. We were choosing to be the channel. We were choosing to be the medium, you know, somebody had particular ability, the shaman, the woman medicine, you know, in Native American. So because we carry this, so it's inside of our soul, we are this. So it's time for these people to recognize. So, and every time I see this, I do my best to tell the people, remember your power, because you were this woman, you were this man. So it means that you have this power inside of you. You didn't lose them. It's just
No, yes. And that is something that has come through two of my psilocybin journeys, where I was to remember my life as a humpback whale, and to call in that that energy, because through my Forbidden Journey program, I am taking people on a very deep psychic descent into the unconscious realms. And that is very much like very Piscean energy. So we think about the deep, deep, deep waters where no one goes, and to call on that energy and to use the navigation and the strength and power of that animal. And then, of course, I was shown myself as a shaman in a past life, and I had a ceremony of remerging with her to call that in. And I think that, you know, there's something really powerful about knowing that we didn't just go through all these past lives to, you know, past lives are not just there to remember, oh, I did that in a past life, or, you know, I did that, you know.
Thank you. Yes.
It's
No.
really truly to allow you to tap into this stream of consciousness and start pulling the energy and the wisdom into your field now,
About
and merge
integrating
that.
them. Yeah, integrating them. They are part of you. You don't know how many times I do things in the house or outside. I'm able to do stuff, and I think, and after I finish, I say, how do I know? Because I start to integrate it over lifetime, where I have this quality, I have this talent. So, and it's about allowing this be part of you. So you're not just a memory. You are part of all of this lifetime. So, and you can tap in this memory and start to remember the power, start to remember also the compassion, or maybe through the experience, you learn to be different, because this become part of you. It's why I have a time to say what kind of year is and how old I am, not because I play funny, but just because when you start to integrate many lifetime and you start to see yourself as a woman, as a male, black, yellow, green, whatever, any kind of color, and any kind of religions, you become part of everything, first of all, and you become more compassionate. And so, and you start to connect to every life and say, oh, I learned this. Oh, this was a lesson. So let me understand better. So, and you go layer by layers and by layers. And I notice when the soul understand, you don't repeat anymore the same. But when the soul doesn't want to face it, because, oh yeah, but you have this repetition, the same mistake, and you are treating the same situation, because energetically you still have this lesson to learn. So you're manifesting a disease or a situation that takes you back to the same problem, the same situation. Makes sense? So yeah, again, more you start to integrate in them, more, you know, it's like when people ask you, how many lifetime did I have? say, you know what? It's hard to say because to go have these planets, this galaxy,
Yeah.
you know, first. And again, and it's not about a number, it's about what kind of lifetime you have, you know, what did you learn from? Because this create who you are today. So the more you become conscious, more you become powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think it's important to know that also the knowledge that you receive in this lifetime is going to be carried forward into next lifetimes. And it's interesting because you and I are we really enjoy and like the work of Andrew Bartzis, the Galactic Historian. And you know, I remember being on one of his radio shows, or maybe it was when he was on my podcast, I can't remember, but you know, telling me that I'm a seeder in a
Mm-hmm.
sense of no, I'm a birther. And so a lot of my mission is around understanding the birthing process through the human experience to then bring that wisdom to another world that is newer than Earth and is going to require and understand how to seed their races and go through the birthing process and all of that, which I think is so interesting because, you know,
The
he told
womb
me that
stuff.
years ago, and now like all of this
With
fertility
you.
stuff
Yes,
is coming
exactly.
through. Yes.
Oh
And
my
so,
God.
you know, there's things that we don't realize that are super powerful for us to learn on this planet because we're taking that wisdom and knowledge to younger planets or planets that are in need of the powers that we're recognizing here.
And when you think about that, everything's happening right now, but it's hard for us to understand this. So when I'm a Reiki master, when I learned Reiki years ago, they say you can heal the past and you can heal the future. So is a circular. So whatever you do, every time you integrate, you recognize, you learn, you do something, you help to heal every aspect of yourself in other lifetime. So
Mhm.
present, future, past, doesn't matter. It's
Mhm.
gonna happen together because it's what it is right now. Everything's happened now. So it's why it's so important to understand that lifetime, not just to know them. And
Mhm.
so we can be better in the future, but also be better here right now because it's exactly the future. I know it's hard to in our mind to understand this, but yes, it's what happened.
No, but you can also like, and no, I totally agree. And this is like a really cool little fun shoot off of the conversation. But, you know, whatever you're leveling up with right now, like I believe that we have a blueprint that we're a design that we came in here to live out and achieve certain things. But I believe that there's also levels of that blueprint that like, if you
I
really
agree.
want to go a little more, if you start doing well, there's this blueprint that if you do start to elevate, this will have ripple effects into these areas beyond what you're actually, you know, already thinking. And I think that, like you said, we do have the power to change the past.
I agree. And so the fact that sometimes we claim something for this lifetime. And I heard for myself too, sometimes I say, you already passed what you plan to do in this lifetime. You already did it, what you need to be done. So like a lot of times I say, you achieve more than you supposed to achieve in this lifetime or something like that. So it's very interesting. And I heard from our clients too sometimes, like, I think we plan something and sometimes we just, like you say, we do a level and we're like, oh no, let me see if I can do another level. So and we
Mhm.
add more and we do more.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how much we can do really in this reality.
And I remember I had this lady on, Jeanette Biro, and she had a near death experience where she was in a room with some of her soul guides, and her whole entire blueprint was on the table, and she saw the timelines, the blueprint, everything. And she was shown that she could change the blueprint and and then change her life. And so she did that. And her whole life changed when she came back in. And she was a completely different person and all of that. And I'm just like, I think about that. And it's like, well, that's no different than me exiting the matrix, going into my vault of programs and saying, yeah, I'm done with that program. Over it. Let's go on to the next thing. I want these programs in now. We're leveling up. We're doing that. And now many parts of my reality shift.
You know, when I do session, a lot of time I see, I know it sounds funny, but like a little window, you know, and in front of me, because I asked to look for the lifetime that I need to clear for that session, because I cannot do everything in one session, because you need to wake up and go and work in and be okay. So, but I ask always what is most important for that moment, for that person. And I see so many windows, and it's amazing sometimes, like, and so I need to pick up, say, okay, this maybe this. So it's interesting because exactly like the blueprint in some way, it looks like all of us, we are connected to all of this part, all of this life, all of this moment, and so we can choose where to start, what to fix, what to understand better, and so we can do this. But I never thought about blueprint. I'm gonna work on this. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Okay. But whatever, yes, we are, because we don't realize, but we are all connected to all of this reality. And so we are able to transform them, to move them. Yes, I agree.
I think there's like, just like in a video game, there are levels and stages that you need to go through. But there are certain levels that when you're on, you can find little trap doors, right? And I remember when I used to play one of my favorite Sega games, I think it was Sega, yeah, Wonder Boy. And I remember from playing it over and over and over and over and over again, that eventually I would like, you would jump and all of a sudden like this portal opens up and you can just leap through all these different levels that and completely bypass a whole bunch of stuff. And I think the same thing is like in this lifetime, where like if you get to a certain point and you've moved through all the things and you've turned over every rock and you're ready for something bigger now, not because you want to skip some stuff, but you've really like gone through it, that you do have these almost like these trap doors that open up into a completely different reality or a completely new blueprint, that you can completely alter.
I agree. And I'm the one that, maybe because I'm too Italian, we don't like to stay in a line. We love shortcuts.
Yes.
But I agree with you. I love shortcuts. I always say it doesn't need to be always hard to evolve. Doesn't need to be always in the hard way. We can have a shortcut. I'm okay. And I have some shortcuts sometime in my life. And I thought, thank you, because I seems like this is what, it takes less time and I can do better. So I noticed that sometimes we have this little door or shortcuts that are going to take you to another level in a very short time, and you can enjoy them, because why not? Why not?
Yeah. And I think those things are available to you when you're in the state where you're not resisting the hard work, like when you're resisting the hard work, those trap doors you don't find them so easily.
Yeah. But again, it's about how much you really want to. Yeah.
Well, and then even if we were to think about and talk about this idea of the desire for you, the awakening of that desire, how do you increase that desire or get more in touch with it and understand it more and evolve it? Because I think that's one of the things that is missing within a lot of people is their own connection to their own desire.
And also the desire to be fixed in one time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
but
yes.
I love everybody, but sometimes I have some people contact me and they want in one session the miracle. And I'm thinking, as if I cannot do it, because I respect you, because you need a time to integrate, you need a time to process. Again, it's not just a reading, it's something that you need to work with and help you to go to another level. Otherwise, you're missing the point. So a lot of people want to be fixed or want to be, something magic one time. Doesn't work. Or maybe it does a little, but not enough. Because if you really want to go deep, you need to start to work. You need to start to look at whatever you need to look, and it's okay, And right now, I believe that we have so much support around, so I think people can find more support right now because
Mhm.
our community, people start to open up more. So it's much easier now, but
Yeah.
when I was 20.
Well, even just to bring it full circle, the ritual, I think, can bring you to that place where you do access these
Yes.
trapdoors, these shortcuts, because you've done it over and over and over. And through that process, you're acquainting yourself with a certain energy field and you're learning it more and more. It's like when I think about how many times I had to play that video game over and over and over before
Yes.
I accidentally found it. It wasn't like I purposely was even looking for it.
The famous mantra, the repetition, what I say, is about repetition. Yes, I agree. Sometimes repetition take you in the loop, in the place where you can finally focus and you achieve and you go and to move forward to another level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Agree.
so through that, you can stumble upon it. Like I mean, there's so many times where, I've gone into meditation or I've gone into a plant journey where, I have this intention, and I go through all my rituals that I do whenever entering into such a thing. But what I find sometimes in there is just like, whoa, that I didn't see coming, like that I didn't realize. And, it comes through this dedication to go through that repetition and showing up and letting it be whatever it's going to be, not showing up with the need for it to be that, but just showing up in the beauty of the process and the sacredness and allowing yourself to immerse into that.
I agree totally. I agree. Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been very fun. I love this conversation. I think it's important. I know you guys in the audience are going to love it. And I know you're getting ready to start your own little rituals, your own little ceremonies, get them ready, whatever it might be, as small or as big or as esoteric or as completely practical as it needs to be. It doesn't matter. It's the energy that you put behind it. The intention is so key. And really just immerse yourself into it. The more you allow yourself to experience something, truly be present in it, that is, like you said, that is 50% of the work right there. It's already done.
I agree.
So
Wonderful.
do you have anything coming up for like people if they want to book sessions or any courses or?
I'm creating some package so people can do some karmic release and some coaching, so RTT, so together, because I still believe that people need to go through process so we can do in different way, in different service. So, and my support will be creating this recording where they can listen every day, pray themselves to remember who they are. So I love to offer this for this big at the end of this month. I'm going to be preparing this package so people can figure it out if you want to go for 3 months and doing something more. I don't think intense, but supportive. They can be supported for every week, so every couple of weeks, doing something with me would be very nice.
I
So
love that. That's
pleasure.
wonderful. So I'll
Writing
leave links for that in the description below. And to my audience, I love you so much. Of course, if you'd like to join me and others for this wonderful ceremonial experience at the Forbidden Journey Retreat.
Yes. What's happening?
Yeah,
Okay.
in Colorado, there's tickets still available. The link is in the description below if you'd like to come and sign up. And of course, if you need any assistance in your own journey, I'm always here to help you. One-to-one session links for that are in the description below as well. I love you guys so much. Don't forget, next week, Mary Ducina will be on the podcast. We'll be looking at the full moon in Pisces, a very, very big full moon. Anytime we have a full moon and it's a Pisces one, it is all about endings. So we're going to see what Mary has to say. Guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you next week. Thanks again for joining me for another show on the Enlighten Up podcast. I love you guys so much for all of your continued support. So remember to raise your vibe, find your tribe, and be open to the infinite possibilities held in the mysteries that surround us all. Thanks again for sharing the show with your family and friends. And if you're new to the show and you need to find out more information about me, please head on over to my website, NicoleFrolick.com, where you can join my newsletter. And please follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and YouTube. Keep your light bright, and I'll see you next week.